All right. Um, Good day, everyone. My name is Cindy Lines. I'm a product marketing director here at Decibel. Can everyone see James's screen showing the presentation? Unfortunately, I cannot at this moment.
Oh, okay. I think you have to pass me the presentation.
Okay, hold on one second. Um, Change presenter.
Ah, lovely.
Perfect. Thank you. Much better. Much better. Awesome. So again, everyone, my name is Cindy Lines. I'm product marketing here at Decibel. With us today is James Batch. He's our senior product manager, and he's really going to go through all the new functionality as part of this beta program that we're very excited about. Just a few little logistics here. Everybody on this session, you are on mute. If you want to ask a question, you're going to see a question option or a chat over to the right-hand side of your screen. Feel free to ask questions real time, and James will address them as he's going through the presentation, or we'll use some of them at the very end. So just regarding the beta itself, it's actually going to start on January 9th. Prior to that date, you'll be receiving an email from your customer success manager, which is going to give you some more information regarding the functionality of this beta, as well as some helpful tips, things that, actions we want you to take within the solution to really help you understand more fully what this new functionality is all about. And as being part of our beta program allows us with your feedback to make sure that we're delivering functionality that is most meaningful to you and your teams. So, and one other note is this is actually going live for all Decibel customers on February 7th. So we're excited that we're giving you this preview. So with this, I'm going to hand this off to James.
Well, thanks for the great intro, Cindy. And we've got quite a large update to get through, so I'm going to crack on. We've actually got three brand new features for you in this beta program. We've got the journey visualization, custom dashboards, and HTML search. So just to give you kind of brief overview of each one before we take a dive in. The journey modeling basically reveals what's actually going on within your funnels. It's a really great visualization, and it's part of kind of Decibel's new move into interactive data investigation. So with a lot of the data and information that's currently displayed in Decibel, you have to kind of navigate around a little bit. What we're looking to do is make the elements and the pages more interactive so you can get to the insights a lot faster. The same with custom dashboards. So, Decibel presents a lot of really useful information, but a lot of our end users are all interested in different areas, maybe different segments, different parts of the website, different funnels, etc. And what custom dashboards allows you to do is to take any element that will be available within the session cam console and restrict that view down to maybe only see the DXS for a particular funnel or a process or even a particular page or segment. So it really is about giving you the data that you want to see on a daily basis in the way that you kind of want it. Great things that will be available in the future will be allowed to share dashboards. So if you find something really interesting, you can share that with your colleagues. And also moving into things like subscriptions. So being able to get a view of your Decibel dashboard emailed to you on a daily basis. Finally, last but not means least, it's the HTML search. So it's the least glamorous of the options, but a really good technical feature. What this allows you to do is if you find something really interesting within any of the analysis that you've been doing, it allows you to kind of almost build a custom search within Decibel, and it will go off and build much like a segment and tell you the information that it's come back with and found out. So that's really quite a good one for capturing issues with things that you don't currently collect with Decibel. So we'll briefly go through each feature. We'll start off with journeys. before I nip into it, the main crux of the journey modeling is around a type of chart called a sunburst chart. Now, some of you may have seen these sunburst charts before, but if you haven't, I just want to briefly take you through what they are. So if you can imagine the flow of your website, almost everyone hits your home page or a landing page, and they will progress through a number of pages, all in different sequences, all in different orders, and it very much creates kind of like a flow. So the top of the right hand side diagram there illustrates that kind of flow where everyone's pairing off and going into different things. What we can do is we can present that view in a sunburst. So what that means is that we take that kind of the flow and then we create it in a series of concentric circles, and as the circles go out, the each kind of radius represents a different page within that journey. It's really easy to visualize what's going on, and it's really easy to kind of understand the proportions of traffic based on the kind of the width of each node. And what I'll do is I'll kind of explain a little bit more about how that works as we kind of dip into a kind of real life example. So that's what the kind of the journey model would look like in a real website scenario. So they're really easy to interpret. They show really large amounts of data in an easy to digest format, and they allow easy interaction with that data and provide a good aggregated view. It really facilitates easy discovery of things that are going on within your website, and it also helps you find out just things that you never knew were going on. So for the beta, how would you access a journey map? So you would just go to your normal funnel section as you would normally see. So here is a traditional funnel, and this is obviously the view that you get of your traffic today. As you can see, you go to the paths option underneath the funnel header, and that will take you through to the journey diagram itself. Now, that's the actual visualization of what's going on. And I think it's really super exciting for any kind of analyst to see that that's how we think the traffic is shaping, and this is actually what's going on. So there's a whole load of new information that you've got available using this chart to understand and to dig into. I'm just going to briefly go through the main features of how you can gather insights from this new diagram. So the first way is grouping by role. So if you've got a load of similar pages set up within your funnel process, so you might have landing page, PD page, product description page, product landing page, for example, what you can do is you can specify those roles within Decibel, and what it will do is it will simplify the view so that you can group and see those interactions or changes within Journey in a more simplified setting. What this does is it does it manually by your current settings. However, we are working with data science in our teams to kind of automate the groupings of this, so we can group these kind of product categories and product detail pages, etc., together automatically. So being able to kind of simplify the view and present you with an amalgamation or an aggregate of the data. You can also filter by funnel step. So, this is a common filter that we obviously use when investigating a funnel, but you can see who reached a particular step within the journey. So you could use this filter to understand what journeys would and how were they different between people who kind of reached step 3 but fell off before they got to step 4. So were they going through different pages? Were they happening in a different order? Did they revisit certain pages more often? And you can do all that using the filter step option. So that just allows you to also rein in on particular goals as well. So if there's anything in particular that you want to look at, so people who clicked on a certain button versus people that didn't, you can also do that if you've got the goals set up within Decibel. Finally, filter by page. So this is one of my favorite options. And what this allows you to do is a more of a kind of use case analysis of a funnel. So you've got a list of the pages that occur within the journey diagram. And what you can do is, if there's a particular use case you want to target that's linked to a page, you can select that option. And what it will do is it will build you a view of that journey with only journeys that that touched on that page. So in this particular example, we've got kind of quote process, and we've noticed an anomaly here with the call us section, because what we want to do is kind of eliminate people from calling us, because we don't want that. We've got a major kind of push on call center deflection internally, so we want to understand why people are viewing call us pages. So what you can do is you can view the journey by the touch on the call us page to understand why people are proceeding to the call us page, and why they would be potentially contacting your call centers rather than progressing through the normal checkout process. Finally, the last mode that you can use within the journey view is the heat map mode. And what this is allows you to switch from the multicolored page coloring to the DXS color. So what this does is it overlays the heat based on DXS. So obviously red being the poorest DXS and green being the good or the best DXS, to allows you to target the processes that have the highest impact on your customer experience score. It's really intuitive and simple to use, and can really guide you to some really quick insights based on who's having a poor experience on your website, and why they're having a poor experience. So as you use the diagram and you hover over it, what that allows you to do is it kind of builds a dynamic funnel. So you can see in the kind of illustration that was just on the screen, that as you move over it, it gives you a progressive kind of sweep of the DXS, and it will allow you to highlight a particular section. And this is how we use it in Anger. So we would find a section that was interest by hovering over it. We would click on the journey diagram to freeze that view. We could then free it up by clicking on the close sequence button if we wish, but more interestingly, what it would then do is it would build you a dynamic view of the current sequence, showing you obviously the page name, the DXS of each step, the amount of sessions that went through that particular step, the drop-off rate in terms of page progression, and then you've got an action there, so you can start viewing the sessions that touched on that point, ordered by the poorest DXS first. So you can really quickly start seeing in this visualization that actually, there's a 46% drop off at quote details, and the DXS is quite low. So at that point, I would really be looking to target that page for improvement, to allow us to move more people on to the direct debit payment page, for example. So it's a really great visual interactive tool for understanding and uncovering areas for improvement within your funnel processes. So last but by no means least, there's just a quick point of note on the beta program. Some of the pages, they obviously will take your naming structure out of the page, and in some cases these don't make very good human sense dependent on how the page has been structured. So you might have to give your page a meaningful name, and we've made it really easy to do that from the UI. You would just hover over the page name, you get a little cog, and you can change the name. To make it easier for you as well, if you rename your page here, in any other page within Decibel that uses those labels, it will also update. So for instance, in page discovery or anywhere else where that is listed. So there's a few limitations. Obviously, you're getting access to the journey modeling a month before it's going out to public release. So there's a few things that you will need to do in order to take access or to make use of journeys. So you must have a funnel in order to access the journey screen, as you would have seen by the illustration. After creating the funnel, the journey data gets built overnight. So please be aware that obviously you will need to, it will only update on a daily basis. Journeys will be built for funnels using page fields. So at the moment, goals is excluded during the beta trial. However, that will be included when we go live for full release. and currently you can't segment the journey view. So period and segment filtering will be added in a future release. I'm not sure if that will get into the main release or whether that will come at a later date, but it's due to the amount of data that we're currently processing. However, as with anything with Decibel, we will be adding those features as soon as we possibly can. I haven't seen any questions come in on journeys. Have you had anything come up, Cindy?
Nothing on my end. Thank you, James.
No worries. Right. So I'll move on to custom dashboarding. So um, obviously custom dashboards don't really need too much of an introduction, but it's just our way of giving you the ability to see the data that you want to see on a daily basis. Now, we know that the widgets that are available for everyone using Decibel are always really good and add value. However, there's a lot of analysts that are only interested in a particular subset of data. We're actually seeing those kind of top level KPIs isn't as relevant to them as perhaps what it could be. So what we've done is we've created a custom dashboarding solution, which works very much like SharePoint. So if anyone's created a dashboard within SharePoint, they'll be very familiar with this interface. What it allows you to do is to select various layout options in a kind of a grid pattern, where you can add those in a particular style. So 1, 2, 3 widgets width, or they can be offset in particular. You then kind of can create multiple different layouts of all different types. And then finally, you can click and add all the various things that will be within Decibel in the future. However, we'll be launching with a limited subset to begin with. And we're really interested to see what kind of layouts that you guys come up with. This is actually a live version of the dashboard in our kind of alpha environment. So you can see here that I've added 3 widgets. I've added the experience issues, the kind of main activity tracker, and also the DXS widget. The widgets that we'll have available for launch will be the errors, the DXS, experience issues, the KPI widget, and conversion widget. So there'll be a few at launch, but we're hoping to add more. And what we're hoping to gauge through the beta period not only is how you guys are using it, how you're interacting with it, anything that you think is missing or you'd like to see, all those kind of different visualizations. We want to really kind of engage with you guys. So now we've got the capability. Now we need to know what you guys want and how we can deliver it. So there are a couple of limitations. So, like I mentioned, we're rolling out sooner with a limited set of widgets, because what we want to do is we want to get it in your hands as quickly as possible for you to shape its development. What we don't want to do is to create a massive set of widgets and you to kind of only use a very few of them, or them not be quite right for you in any way. So we are waiting to get more feedback on those to add the additional widgets over the coming future. And then finally, the subscription and sharing of dashboards. So while those are really important features, what we want to do is we want to ensure that we're getting the right information onto the dashboards before we open up sharing and the ability to kind of have them emailed to you on a schedule. So that was kind of a really quick spin through with dashboards. Obviously, it's a kind of a well-trodden path, but it's also a really exciting feature. And also, so is HTML search. So it's a very technical feature, hence the technical name. But it basically allows you to do to create a search of our data for a number of different kind of features. So if you found a particular text that might come up in a replay that's not an error you currently track, if there's a particular variable or a CSS selector that's appeared and seems to be giving you an issue, what you can do is you can create a search within Decibel that will allow you to input that information. And then what that does is, there's the example there. You can pick from a number of different search types. You put your values in. You can even add some segmentation, and you can pick a from and to date. and it will go and build very much in a similar way to how our segments build. And then it will come back and it will tell you, for example, how many sessions have been encapsulated within that particular pot of data. So the example I always like to use is, if you come in a Monday morning and the CEO bursts in and he said, well, I saw this error message at the weekend and I think it's a massive issue. And you have no way of quantifying that currently, because it's not a message that you currently pick up. What this allows you to do is to search through the HTML, and so you can see all the people, for example, that saw that specific message over the course of the weekend, to ascertain if that really is a problem for you and something you should be looking at. And obviously, once you've got your HTML search segment built, you can start to use all of the tools that you know and love in Decibel to understand, whether it be heat maps or session replay, to understand the reasons why that particular thing is happening. So yeah. Oh, last but by no means least, obviously you can then extend that into the Decibel tool set. So once you've uncovered your issue, you've gone through the replay and the heat maps, you can obviously share that particular segment or comment with the rest of your engineering team, obviously using our Slack or Jira integration, for example, to kind of close the loop. So from detecting an issue to understanding and quantifying, doing the analysis, and then sharing the best example back to your teams to allow them to kind of resolve the issue. So that's a very whistle-stop tour through the kind of January release. I don't know if we've got any questions come through. Have we, Cindy?
I don't see any questions or conversations going on at this point regarding the information you've shared, James. Really, really nice job with all of that. Thank you.
Not a problem.
So again, next steps regarding the beta process is everyone on this call will receive communications from their customer success manager regarding the functionality that James just shared with you, tips on how you can use this information within your own account. And then just be mindful for the rest of your organization, of course, all of our Decibel customers, all this functionality will go live on February 7th. So any questions you may have following this call, please reach out to your CSM. And we thank you again for your time today.